Welcome back to Moms for Justice, everybody. I'm Carolyn. How are you guys doing? Give you guys a couple of minutes to hop on. Want to say hi to you all. Thank you, Peter, for the super chat. You are awesome. Thank you so much. So good to see you all. Hi, Anne. How are you? Hi, Colleen. How are you? Jana, Dorito, Kim, Steph K, Mickey Mouse. Uh-huh. Gotta love Mickey Mouse. Hello, Carolyn. We have the same name. Molly, Jolie. Hi, Jolie again. How are you? Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you to say, Yvette. So, everybody. Oh, there's more. Hold on. I just want to say hi to you all first. Hello, Jules. Josine. Lydia. Darla. Tammy. Well, that's original someone. Okay, so Kat, no, I don't got any jail calls for you today, but I do have some information from the Leon County Jail, not pertaining directly to Donna, but more about the life in Leon County Jail. Hi. Ellen, Jody, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me. I tried to get moderators on here today, but I think I can handle it today. Okay, so guys, first of all, the big question is Donna going crazy? Well, I have a lot to say about that. I do think she is going crazy. I really do. One thing that we do know is that she filed motions. They got all denied by Judge Everett. Hold on, I have notes here. And by the way, I've been away because my daughter is in college, and I went to go visit her at her college, and I found out that there was some stuff going on. I'm sure you guys already know about that stuff with the denials from Judge Everett. And but I did not talk about it on this show. But basically, all the motions were denied by Judge Everett, as we all know. Final pretrial motions were heard on August of 2025, and then her trial happens. And then he denied her questioning the jurors because she is saying that this juror, by the fact that she came forward and spoke too soon, that it was, hindering her trial, hindering the outcome of her trial. We all know that that's a bunch of BS. Judge Everett, I don't think, is ever going to let anything get past him when it comes to Donna Adelson at this point. I don't think he likes her. I think that she gave him a really hard time in this trial, and he's just so, done with this woman. Right? But anyway, so what I'm hearing is that she is wailing and crying while she's in the Leon County Jail, just crying, about her life being over and how she doesn't want to be here and she can't take it anymore. She just can't take it anymore. And that doesn't surprise me. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what her life might be like right now, because she has lost everybody, right? She doesn't talk to Charlie. Robert and her are estranged. Okay, so she's got to wake up every day and live with that, about the fact that she, not only her son is done with her, Robert, but it's out there, guys, that there was potential evidence of a wiretap call where she and Harvey were talking about getting rid of Robert Adelson. It's out there. And some people have said, well, where is that? Why didn't it? I don't know why it wasn't used. I don't know. But it is factual evidence. This is something that really happened. And if you look up on Court TV, there is I think it's August 13th, maybe, there is a hearing that was, they convened for a hearing, and the prosecution spoke about having wiretap calls where Harvey and Donna were talking about getting rid of one of these girls. I don't know if it was the Drina Bernhardt or one of these other inmates that were going to speak. Also, Katie Magbanoa was talked about, but then also having Robert Adelson, and the word that was used was harmed. Okay, it was harmed. So imagine the fallout from that, right? So then your son comes and testifies against you, and then you have to like live with the idea that now no longer is the relationship anymore, but he now is probably aware, I mean, like all of us are, that she potentially wanted to take him out. So I don't know how a mother can live with that. You know what I mean? Live with her, like to look back at yourself and see your actions, not just with Robert, with everybody, but this one particular thing with Robert is just so, it's the disgust that she's got to feel about herself. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's completely entitled, narcissistic, controlling, and this matriarch and this family, she just pulled it all down, right? And she has to live with herself with that. And that is incredibly painful, even for the biggest lying narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe narcissists know right from wrong and they just choose to do wrong. You know what I mean? Because they just feel they're that important. So I just do not think for a second that she doesn't feel bad, at least about that. So okay, yeah. So I'm gonna play some of them. I have this little slideshow as I talk about the Leon County Jail. So, all right, let me play this for you guys. It's just a little background scenery. It's a bunch of clips put together. But yeah, so Donna, I spoke with somebody at Leon County Jail last week. They would not come on. I tried to get them on as for an interview, and understandably so. It's just too much putting them out there, so they wouldn't agree to do that. But they went through kind of like the schedule, and a little bit about life in Leon County Jail. So I'll share with you my notes. They provide, first of all, they provide educational self-help programs, even in the jail. Like she's only temporarily in jail until she's moved over to a prison because she's waiting for sentencing. But while you're in Leon County Jail, a lot of times people are waiting for a year, 2, 3 years sometimes for their trial to happen. And during that time, they do have educational and self-help programs. Okay. Now, each inmate is allowed 5 30-minute visits per week. That's actually a lot. I mean, that's pretty good, don't you think? Now, I suspect that Harvey is visiting her. And the reason why I think that's because during the trial, he did get a place to stay. I don't know if he's renting a place or whatever, but there is a place in Tallahassee that he does reside. I can almost bet money that he didn't get rid of that he now is keeping it so he can travel back and forth and visit his wife because, he's got to see her. He's the only person she has, right? So anyway, she's allowed 5 30-minute visits per week. So there's no excuse for Wendy not to go visit her as far as I'm not able to. Well, you are able to. She's just choosing not to. So the visiting hours are between 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then there's an evening session between 5:30 and 7 p.m. They do use Securus Video Connect for all approved visitors. You have to be approved. You have to sign in and all that stuff. And then the jail also has a medical concern hotline and mental health concern hotline. So my assumption from that is that they don't provide services, just somebody for you to call, which kind of sucks because you don't really get one-on-one personal interaction. So I thought that was funny. There is a Family Time and Tales program where children can visit in a child-friendly atmosphere where they've got blocked off so that the kids don't have to see other prisoners. But that doesn't apply here because we don't have little kids involved in this case. Okay, so here's what a day might look like, okay? Early morning wake up, 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. So they must wake up and the lights are on super bright. They have no choice. There's no rolling over and having this nice leisurely sleep, Donna. It just doesn't happen. So there's a very fixed schedule to prepare for breakfast and head counts, etc. So the jail staff will bring breakfast to the pods or move inmates to a dining hall, depending on which pod or the, I guess, the notoriety of the inmate. They're standardized meals, okay? Very limited in their choice, and everything has tight security all around. They do a count of inmates. They check on doors, head count many times a day. These are routine in jail head counts. They have to verify that all inmates are accounted for and are present. Also, you cannot, create disturbances. Otherwise, you get in trouble. So for someone like Donna, the only time she would maybe be able to get out of the pod area would be maybe just to meet with her attorney or if she has a visitor. Okay, court transports usually happen only in the morning or the late morning. Okay, she might meet her defense team under stricter rules depending on the inmate and what's going on with them at that time. Let's see. Okay, so inmates are allowed out of their cells for a very limited recreation and yard time. And it also depends on the housing block. They don't get a lot of time. I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour. That I didn't get clarification on. I think I just forgot to ask that question. Okay. Evening in-person visits, like I said, are 5:30 to 7. Some inmates need to have scheduled visitors ahead of time. They cannot move freely around at night. Okay. And then there are quiet hours and you cannot, make a peep during those times. And the jail staff are frequently walking back and forth, as you can see here, just looking in the windows at everybody. Can you imagine walking in these halls, looking in and seeing Charlie Adelson with his toe? Oh man. Now I think he's really starting to lose his marbles, everybody. I really do. And now I think she's losing her marbles. And, and just the whole family is just literally falling apart at this point. Yeah, so that is that. I wanted to check in with you guys here because I don't have a moderator on right now, so I apologize. Give me a second. Yeah, so Cecilia says her tearless crying is more like moan and groan for feeling sorry for herself and attention. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about today was her relationships with her kids at this point. Okay. So Wendy specifically, what is it doing to Donna? The fact that this relationship with probably her most prized child is completely gone. I mean, everything, the whole reason why she is where she is because of Wendy. So just her health, the aging, she's used to an entitled life where there's, she's rich. So there's like designer clothes and there's Botox and there's, fancy restaurants and living in this palm tree lined streets, beaches, can you imagine how this woman's mental state is at this point? It's pretty mind-boggling. And, I almost I don't feel sorry for her, but what is it doing to her frame of mind, right? So mental health issues, being incarcerated even over the age of 50, because you already have, when you start getting to be my age, which I'm 51 years old, you start with your hips hurt, your joints ache, right? You you can't just roll out of bed at 51 years old and look great. You just can't. You got to, fix yourself up a little bit. You got to get your hair done. You got to do stuff like that, just to keep it all together, ladies, right? Well, Donna, being in her 70s, she has no access to any of that, to makeup, to plastic surgery, to nice clothes, or even good food. I mean, think about the food she's eating. It's like, what that does to you inside as a person is just, it's a tragedy. It really is. So chronic illness will start to creep in, mobility issues, a sensory decline happens really fast, Um, and I don't think she entered prison with poor health at all. I think she was very chipper. If you look at her in the airport video, she looks pretty darn good for her age. I mean, she is, of a good weight. She seems, way more mobile and with it than Harvey Adelson. So, but then we see her fast forward, when she started coming out in the last 6 months for emotions, she had gained all this weight. She's walking slower. And now they're wheeling her around in a wheelchair, right? I'll play the video that everybody's been watching about her. I know. So Carolyn says, I have no empathy for the Adelsons. I have compassion and sorrow for the Markells. I do too. Yeah, I stop and like the minute I start to feel like, because it's like human nature to think about the way the woman lived before and how she is now. And for like a split second, I always feel like, oh man, like that's rough. And then I catch myself and then I always say, well, she's where she needs to be, right? I mean, she deserves everything she's got, but it's just so sorry. It's like so much sorrow for me because it didn't have to be this way. It did not have to be this way. And where was anybody 5-10 years ago, or way before that, actually more like 15 years ago, saying to Donna, hey, you need to chill out and stop being a helicopter mom to these three. You know what I mean? Where, was somebody to like call her out and hold her accountable for her behavior? Because if somebody had done that, and maybe somebody did, but if somebody had done that and said, you're out of your mind, you need to leave Wendy alone, let her work things out with Dan the way she needs to work them out, and stop with the, let her live her own life. If somebody had done that, we wouldn't be here right now, and Dan would be alive, But unfortunately, he was living with this, nightmare of, ex-in-law family. It's crazy. Yeah. And they got away with it for so long. So, I do think that Donna had a really bad, mental health issue, like maybe a personality disorder, combined with the narcissism, but it was like a kettle that was just, percolating and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. All right. I don't think, and this is a really sad thing to say, I think she's has a very high risk for suicide. But I think even if she did not go that route, I don't think she's going to last very long. I don't. I think she is so just on her way out mentally. And I think the rest of her is just going to disintegrate. So without family contact, inmates will rely on just like their routine in I mean, you have to like submit to the jail or the prison, whichever one. Right now she's in jail, but if you don't submit to the routine and the lifestyle of being incarcerated, I mean, that's the only way to cope with the loss of your old life. And that we saw a little bit of that in some of the video, like her latching on to Drina Bernhardt and treating her like a daughter or another one of her sunshines. That is what you have to do to get by, you know? It's either going to be that where she just becomes really institutionalized and she just like, bonds with these women in prison and tries to help them, but she's not really a good role model for helping anybody. So I don't know how that would work out, right? But I got the impression, I don't know if you guys did, but I got the impression that maybe for a second there, Drina wanted motherly affection from her. I mean, that's what I got from it. And when you have an older lady in prison, I would imagine the younger women would leave her alone, that she'll never be at risk for assault or any kind of abuse in any way because everybody's going to feel sorry for her, which I guess that works in her favor, her age, right? Jane goes, Donna is a cockroach. She will outlive us all. I guess that remains to be seen, but yeah. Myrtle Makagi, I will go to bed thanking God I am not an Adelson. Yeah, I'm very, very, very thankful I am not in that family. Lacey says, I don't think her darling daughter has any contact with her or her grandchildren. That would break my heart. No, I don't think Wendy's visiting her at all. There's just no way. In fact, I think Wendy has written her off and that is it. And is probably living her life as if mom is no longer part of my life. She's evil. She killed my ex-husband and the father of my children. And that's what she's got left. Wendy has that left. If she walks around spewing, oh my gosh, can you believe what my own mother did to the father of my children? What else is she going to do? She's got to say something, right? I mean, if she was innocent, that would be what I would say, right? Like, because nobody is going to believe me if I'm feeling sorry for my mother or I'm even, visiting her. Nobody is going to believe me. They're going to be like, well, she must be in on something so it is the appropriate behavior to do after all this is for her to just tell everybody that is willing to hear it that her mother is evil and she killed the father of her kids. Lou says, Donna can also be seen as a target because of her age. She shouldn't underestimate the women she's behind bars with. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I looked into this a little bit and elderly people are usually left alone. They don't usually, yeah. I totally agree, Liz. Ruth Markel should have the boys. Will she? I don't think so. Because I think Wendy has already made arrangements for what would happen if she should get arrested, because what mother wouldn't do that, right? She's got to think about that. It's definitely an option. And I'm sure that she's looking over her shoulder every single day, wondering, and what a horrible way to live, right? Imagine that you can't wake up one day, have your breakfast, take your shower, whatever, take your shower, have your breakfast, and go out the door and not know if that's going to be the day that you get arrested. This is the life that she is living right now. Lori Keith says, the human side of me feels some sympathy for them, but the Adelsons have shown no empathy towards the Markels for 11 years. In the end, they are simply reaping what they sowed. Yeah. And you know what? That's okay, Lori, because it is human nature. If you're a good person, and I would like to think I'm a good person, if you're a good person, I have compassion even for the worst of the worst. I do. And then, then I snap out of that and I'm like, well, she is where she needs to be. right? But it's sad because it didn't have to come to this. Dan's sister should get the kids. Another great option. Absolutely, because she's younger and she has kids. They're the first cousins. They could, potentially have a couple years left together. And when I say a couple years, what I mean is like they're almost 18 now, the kids. So they're gonna have a year or two with their cousins, which is invaluable time. And yeah, but like I said, Wendy made other arrangements, I'm sure. And I don't know if the Markells would have what kind of, I don't know legally what kind of, avenue they could take. You know what I mean? Remember that case? Dee Dee Lee says, Wendy went to the crime scene to make sure she wasn't being Dahlia Dippolito'd. Dahlia Dippolito, what a nightmare. What a hot mess she was, right? One of the most narcissistic young women I've ever seen in my life. And she totally faked this whole thing with her. She wanted to kill her boyfriend. I don't think they were married. And she went to the gym and hired a hitman. If I remember correctly, she hired a hitman knowing the morning of that he was going to be killed. It was notified to the police in advance. So the police knew about this plan and they go and they let him know, they're trying to kill you. So we're going to pretend it happened. And we're going to let her show back up at the house. And we're going to tell her that you had been killed. And Dahlia is like in the street, faking it, like totally crying and like, oh my gosh, whatever. And meanwhile, she planned the whole thing. And it's just that case. Another one out of Florida, right? Yeah, and I remember that guy, like, he reminded me of like a Jersey, New York guy, but you know what? Stand-up dude. Like, I liked him. Hey, did you guys like this video yet? Like the video. Do not forget to like the video. Okay, so back to Donna. Oh, you know what? I'll play a little bit from, all right, so Justice Served has up they did a video. It's got both of them in it. It's, what's her name again? Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up for you guys. All right, yeah. So it's Linda Kenny Bodden and Michael Bryant. They put out a couple days ago. And again, I wasn't here. I would have like live streamed it that night, but I didn't. Anyway, he shows Donna after her leaving the courthouse to go back to the jail after her verdict. And it's definitely very interesting. So here, I'll show it to you guys here. And what's cool is the way they position, the way they've positioned their heads. It looks like there's 3 of us on there. It's kind of cool, right? All right. Anyway, let me play it for you guys.
Said something that was very ominous here. Let me see if we can.
Feet up so I can pull things up.
I mean, look at that. That's the harsh slap of reality.
And she's all crying and like she could barely walk. This woman.
Did you hear what she just said?
No, I did not.
She said, "You're not going anywhere," meaning you're stable. I think it had a more important meaning. Yeah. You're not going anywhere.
All right. You got your hand on the handle?
So who thinks she's faking it? Do you guys think she's faking this? Or do you think she really is like disintegrating before our very eyes?
I'm gonna go ahead and take this.
I will see you Monday.
Yeah.
Got her head in her hands. Some people asked about her being shackled. She was not shackled. And they thought maybe that's why she had the wheelchair. No, she was not shackled.
Justice Served TV, guys. I'm sure you're already subscribed, but make sure you subscribe to them. It's a great video.
We're not going to watch. We won't watch the whole drive, but you'll see early on. This attendant, this sheriff officer, is, on the phone. I don't know if it's with a friend or a coworker that she's friendly with, but it just seems with what's going on in the back seat to be interesting.
Everyone says faking. You guys are funny.
What's up? Is your ear okay?
Remember, she's just found out. That's it. Her life is over. Right. So I'd be weeping too if I thought that was it. I'm through. I'm done. I'll never see the light of day again. But yeah. I think she's definitely a little more worn away and disintegrated than she used to be. But I do think the majority of what we're seeing here is faking. That's my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do think she's completely
I was just
blown
trying to get a screen
away
started.
that anyone would find her guilty.
Okay. Yes, sir. Perfect. I don't have to lose you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, she's crumbled. She is destroyed right now.
You can hear her just blubbering in the back seat.
Thanks, Will. Thank you for giving me your 2 cents.
Now this is at about, looks like 8:12, the night of the verdict. So just a handful of hours after she learned her fate. And remember, people have been talking about, whether body language experts or others, that, she's just acting. This is all fake. It's all for the cameras. It's all, I'm not talking about the motivation. I think we agree the motivation is because she's selfish and, boo-hoo, poor me, Donna Adelson. But whether it was real or not was a question. Is she performing for the jury, although it's a bit late for that, performing for the judge, performing for the TV cameras? Well, there's nothing here that she'd be performing for.
And
That's my favorite.
We're showing this with the audio that I don't think it's been shown before.
Hey, I can't really talk, but did you let Brian know? Okay. Okay. What time do you want me to be there at the jail in the morning? At 4. Okay. Are you gonna be there at 4? Come on.
Make sure you guys drop your questions below for me. When I'm done with this, I'll answer some of your questions.
Okay, just pick me up outside of Zone 1. And I will be there. Give me a break from all that commotion there in the
Yeah,
courthouse.
Georgia killed her.
So she's been doing the courthouse drill, right? And
Right,
so
right.
now she's got to go at 4 a.m. a different part of the courthouse, which will give her a break from the commotion, the
Of
daily
course.
commotion, which is the Donna Adelson case. Okay, so one other phone call she makes that is interesting. Let me zoom ahead to that real quick, and then we'll go to the arrival, which is amazing.
No offense to these guys. I'm going to move past this
Look at
steering
that
wheel
here.
here. All right.
Not as exciting because we weren't able to watch the whole thing. And
You can watch the full
talk about
video
things.
on there.
There goes
on
the
their
gun
page.
and the ammo. That's what's on the seat that come and go from the vehicle.
264 to reach on
You don't want your detainee grabbing your gun.
That's what we couldn't see yesterday because
Right.
it required to leave the gun in the
Yeah,
ammo.
it actually it looked too small, so maybe it was just the clip. It didn't look like a whole gun, but I think it might have been just the clip. But yeah, obviously they don't. They're going to be wrestling this person from the car to the wheelchair. Easy to grab the gun. Okay, so see these big doors here, these sliders. That's what we heard without seeing last time. Hey, let me in. I got Donna Adelson here. Let me in.
wheelchair.
She's again asking, where's that damn wheelchair? Easier to get out of this jail than into the jail.
to highlight this comment here. This is awesome. Claudia says it's probably the same feeling you get when you have to leave the cemetery before they lower the casket. You're leaving behind someone you love to an entirely new life on another planet. I mean, how eerie and dark is that feeling right there? You nailed it, because yes, I've been to funerals where like it's that final goodbye and they lower that casket and you walk away and it's just, yeah, really good analogy.
We'll have them bring the wheelchair to you, okay? Just hang tight.
She's blubbering. There's Donna Adelson. She's crying.
Yeah. So I'm going to let this play. I think it's about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we can go back and kind of break down some of her movements and manners.
She pretty much sits here and like whimpers.
Here's the lunch or dinner she did not eat.
The heavy
Lost your appetite,
breathing.
apparently, after the guilty verdict.
This is interesting. Rosalinda Kelly. I personally don't think she's faking. Reality is sinking in. Her beautiful life is over. Donna can't even hug her husband as the officers pulled her away after her court hearing. Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. I think it's I think she's exaggerating genuine feelings of shock. But I do think there's some faking going on. It's just, I'm a mess. My life is over, and I'm going to make it known right now. Tamara said, what if Harvey orders more hits from his luxury nest? Put him away already. I mean, who else is he going to hit at this point? And what would that even do? I mean, unless he's going to try to help Wendy in some way. Jeff Lacasse needs to be careful. Jeff Lacasse is the biggest witness for Wendy Adelson. Okay, guys, Jeff Lacasse, is anyone protecting him? I think that needs to be spoken about. Guys, don't forget to like this video. I got my merch. My merch shop is in the link, or you can see it right underneath this video if you want to get some merch. And there's other ways to support the channel if you're interested. You don't have to, please. I'm not about begging people for help or anything like that. It's all there if you want to do that. Yeah. Sigfredo Garcia is the big mystery still. I think there's things about Sigfredo that we don't know. And I've heard people mention him actually talking to Wendy. I don't have any confirmation of that. But if that is true, I sure hope he comes forward. But Jeff Lacasse, I would be very worried for his safety right now. Clara. Wendy's probably committing drive-bys in her spare time. Oh my gosh. You guys. Yes, histrionic personality disorder. It's very real. Amber Heard had a histrionic personality disorder, and Amber Heard and Wendy Adelson are so much alike to me.
So she gets to stew while they're waiting for this wheelchair.
Bring me the head of Sigfredo Garcia. Oh, sure. Sierra Juliet, Justice Served TV has this video on their page. Make sure you subscribe and like them.
Your chair's coming out now. They're coming, okay? I'm gonna let you get that sweater off.
I'm hearing rumors about Sigfredo meeting Wendy, but there's no confirmation of that, at least that I could find.
I just can't take you in there without any.
There's a lot of rumors going around, people. I just don't want to be that channel that spreads rumors. I'll tell you when I say something if it's alleged or it's something I heard.
Okay, we'll come back to the wheelchair ride and go into the jail with her, but let's just go back and kind of evaluate,
Right.
comment on some of her movements, reactions. She
We'll have them
says
in the
things
wheelchair.
even, you know, but under her breath.
Just hang tight.
The channel that I'm playing the video on, it's Justice Serve TV.
Yeah, she's gesticulating, like, you know, like she's processing it, like either how could that happen or what, you can just see the wheels turning there.
Wendy is still a member of the Florida Bar. Wendy is still listed as an attorney for the Miami Foundation. Yes. And you know what? I think she's able to work as a consultant, and I think she works from home, but I don't know for sure. But we already know that in Colorado there was a law firm that
It's like she's mouthing something too.
Yeah.
In Colorado there was a law firm that Wendy
She
applied.
kind of looks skyward
I
a
don't
couple of
want to
times. I mean, and she's just like heaving.
I'll just pause it.
This is interesting. This is when the
Wendy
body cam,
applied
but
for
there
a
must-
job at a Colorado law firm. And that Colorado law firm, one of the attorneys there wrote a blog post about the fact that Wendy applied for a job there and they almost hired her. And the guy who wrote the blog post was the one that was like pushing not to hire her. And he went to his partner and he said, "Why are we hiring her?" And he goes, "Well, you know, she's never been charged or indicted. So let's bring her on." And he's like, "Okay, but think about this. She is involved with a family that murdered another attorney, like a law professor. You know what I mean? We should be advocating and supporting Dan Markel. And if she is in any way even like, if they're just suspicious of her, then we shouldn't hire her for the sake of respect for Dan Markel." So kudos to that guy because they ended up not hiring her and it blocked her from getting a job. And I think that that's going on all over the place, everybody. I think Wendy is really struggling to get a job. I think maybe behind, you know, in a home office somewhere, not being seen and acting as a immigration attorney consultant, maybe she's getting work. Again, this is just, you know, speculation on my part, but I do think that maybe she could get something like that, and then they probably find out who she really is, and then boom. But she's moving around all the time. Now, I had put out that Wendy bombshell video. When I put out the Wendy bombshell video, I know 100% for a fact that she at that moment was still in Austin. I don't know where she is now. Then there were rumors going around that she up and left and went to Colorado. Again, at that moment when those rumors were going around, she was still in Austin. But then the house gets put up for rent that she was staying in Austin. And it's at that point that we are really very unsure now where she is. Now, I think Patty's Playhouse said that she knows she's still in Austin. Patty's Playhouse is awesome. Check her out. She said that she has confirmed that she is still in Austin, I believe. But I can only confirm she was in Austin at the time that I had put out that Wendy bombshell video. Now I'm not sure where she is, but she could still be in and around Austin. And there are a lot of people she knows in Austin or around Austin. And don't forget, I did the video on Wendy's men. And uh, what is his name? Miguel Edmondson was an ex-boyfriend of hers, and he was in the Texas area, I think Houston or Austin also. So, I mean, she knows so many people. She's got family over there. And Ritu Guy moved somewhere, I heard, in Texas as well. So, you know, it's crazy. Maybe it would not be beneficial for her to leave at that point, because she's got so many people that might still support her. We always end up diverting our topic to Wendy, don't we? You know, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Donna. Now, after I'm done with this video, I want to talk to you guys about, hold on a second, about what I think Donna and her team could have done differently that might have had a different outcome. You know, but let me just finish playing this video.
The camera in the car.
We'll see when they respond to me. They have not responded yet. They just acknowledged the request.
No, she's in jail still at Leon County Jail, by the way, Donna. You got to wait for her sentencing.
Yeah, she throws her head back.
Yeah, she's going to really struggle to ever find a job, guys.
She's talking to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Mumbling to herself. You're hearing the
Yeah.
The heavy breathing and stuff, but she also knows that there is an officer standing right there.
That is hanging your head.
You're hearing the you're hearing
Don't forget to like and comment, everybody.
And interesting, the officer has to keep the body cam trained on her.
I think it's more just a function of her being in position to do something as she needs to, and just so happens, you know, body cam right there just faces right at her. I don't think it was purposeful, like she was framing it up, but worked out well.
That's a different George, Brenda. There's two Georges. I'll explain in a minute. You're thinking of a different George.
Again, with the head thrown back. So as you see this, what are your thoughts, you know, when you compare what we saw in court and what people reacted to in terms of that performance?
I think this is kind of going the same thing when the guilty verdicts came down and she, you know, lifted her hands up and her attorney had like put them down, and I think she's playing in her mind, oh, well, should I have testified? How did I get it? I knew I should. I think that this is not so much grief about her former son-in-law. I think this is grief about, in my opinion, this is grief. This is her grief. Okay, let's remember, it's her grief, but it's her grief about what.
Okay, let me pause this.
Wrong.
Okay, let me go over this George thing with y'all again. Okay, so there are two Georges. Okay, so there was a billionaire named Mike Fernandez out of Miami. Okay, and Wendy actually worked for him while she was in Miami years ago. Okay, that billionaire Mike Fernandez has a son named George. Okay. No confirmation I could find that she dated him, but it is rumored that she could have dated that George. The George or Jorge that she is with now is not that George. He is, you know, upper middle class, not a billionaire by any means, worked for Amazon, was in technology, and had a home or has a home in his name in Texas. Okay. And the rental was apparently where her and that George had been living. So I just want to confirm with you all that there are two Georges, and I do see a lot of people getting confused, thinking that the bald guy with the crazy eyebrows that everybody sees now, they think it's the billionaire's son, and it is not. He was just regular middle class, upper middle class George. Last picture, they were at some function recently. As far as I know, he did not accompany her to Tallahassee that we could see. I wonder, he was probably stayed behind in Texas to take care of the boys. Pictures all we got to go by is pictures, and pictures tell us that obviously he has a relationship with those boys, right? And they're probably clinging on to this man. So what I do want to say about George Estrada, the one she's with now, who's not the billionaire's son, I pray that he's a good person who is just a clueless schmuck who does not see who Wendy really is. And that maybe he has provided some sort of stability and love and affection that the boys so very much need, right? So I pray for that, because their situation is so dire and is so absolutely horrible. I mean, when these boys are like older and they look back and they can like step out of this bubble they're in and look and see what happened around them. Imagine that being your life story, right? Everything that happened with your father and your mother. I mean, and then your grandma's in jail. Uncle Charlie is in jail. You know, my mom was suspected of murder. My dad is dead in the most horrific way. I just, I genuinely really feel bad for them. And you know what? I don't want to even attack. We shouldn't attack George because he might be like this really great, nice guy and is clueless and doesn't realize what's going on. You know what I mean? We all know how manipulative she appears to be. We all know the things that Jeff has spoken about her manipulation and, you know, Sarah talking about her playing different men and stuff. So how do we know that George Estrada has not been taken for a ride here? You know? Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. Like, yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you right now, guys, I don't think that relationship is going to last. It's not. You can't be involved with somebody like her and not have it, like, you know, chip away at your relationship. What's going on here? You just can't. It's bound to happen. And when it does, will he come forward and speak? Because I wonder what she has said to him. Like, what do you think? Any pillow talk, people? Is there pillow talk going on between those two? I wonder what she has said about her involvement. All I think about when I think about that is like, remember Jeff talking about like a week beforehand, she pulls him aside and goes, no, I got to tell you something. Like, I got to tell you something in confidence. You know, that Charlie really did try to hire a hitman. This is the kind, I don't think she could hold back. And I'm thinking that at some point she might think, okay, well, I'm with him forever, George Estrada. And she probably thinks her relationship is on solid ground. So what do you think she could be saying to him? And at what point will he be like, oh man, this woman is bad news for my life. He's got 2 kids of his own, very accomplished kids, according to his world and what's on social media. He's not going to want that junk in his family. Yeah, drunk confessing, Jane, right? Because we all know that she can, you know, throw a few back. And when she throws a few back, she's a yapper. You know? Yeah, so can't be forced to testify since they're not married if she ever gets charged. That's correct. That's correct, because when you're married, you do not have to testify against your spouse. You have this privileged right as a spouse that they cannot pin you against your spouse and be called to testify. So they're not married. They can call him. Yep, spill the beans to George. I'm just, you know, and even if it wasn't like direct knowledge of anything, There's no doubt in my mind that there are subliminal hints that she has given out. There's no way. No way. Well, they're just going to wait. Georgia and team, and I think Georgia's not going to be with them for long because she was offered another position, I think. But I think she has also vowed to be the person that stays on for this case. But regardless of that, the DA is just going to sit there and wait. You know what I mean? Sarah did it. It took how many years for Sarah to come forward, right? If this guy has any kind of conscience, it'll weigh on him. And if the relationship ever goes sour, and I just have a feeling it can't be going good right now. How could it? How they can't probably go anywhere without being reminded of who she is. That is going to weigh on somebody. Now, she could be enticing him in other ways behind closed doors, and that's what's keeping him going, keeping him around. Yeah, well, in 2 years they will. And what will they do? I think they're so brainwashed and so, what is the word? Is it Stockholm syndrome or something like that? I don't know. What is the word again, guys, when you are brainwashed and sucked in by your captor and you begin to have empathy for your captor? Now, I know she didn't kidnap anybody, but it's kind of the same thing, right? They don't know anything else. They don't know anything else but what she says in their ear. Hi, baby doll. How are you? Thank you. Wendy has no impulse control. And Jeff said George definitely knows something. Yeah, loose lips, Wendy. George is looking to cash in with interviews and a book. Maybe he's going to have the last laugh. Maybe, and it's a joke. Maybe he'll be laying on a beach somewhere with Harvey drinking out of a coconut. Thank you. So I was right. It's Stockholm syndrome. Okay. So there might be a little bit of a Stockholm syndrome here because there is a level of uncertainty and insecurity that those kids might be feeling. And the only security blanket they have is their mother. And you don't want to lose that when you've lost everything else. And plus, you're seeing them getting knocked down like dominoes, right? Wendy made the bullets and her family fired them. Yep, she planted the seed and played her whole family except Robert, and the whole family were part of it. They should all be in prison. Wouldn't it be great if the boys went to live with Robert Adelson? Wouldn't that be great? I think he or Shelley would be the best choice because the Markells, for them to have, they could still visit with the Markells and live with Robert or Shelley, and I just think it would maybe be more appropriate for them to live with them. Thank you, Don Giovanni. Like your name. Do things swell after Botox and fillers? I don't know, Pam. I've never heard of that. Swell? No, I think everything just goes wah, 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 wah. Oh no, Sarah says I was lied to my whole life, and at 17 I started to put pieces together that later being told the truth. Teens see what's going on. Yes, Sarah, I so agree, and I think we're really close to that with these boys. Really close to that. No empathy for George. His wife died, and then he exposed them to a murderer. I'm sure his dying wish was to take care of our kids. Right, but you know what? We don't know for sure what kind of person he is. We don't know if maybe he's just really been duped. There are men out there that get duped. They get enticed by a woman who sexually is doing all the right things, saying all the right things. Maybe George is somebody that's insecure. Maybe maybe he's just really in love with her and doesn't see what everybody else sees. But I'm convinced there's got to be, the relationship is souring in some way. Jamie writes, doesn't George have internet? Oh, I'm sure he does. He's either secretly looking, like, in the closet at night, with the door shut, looking to see what everybody's writing about him, or he's doing because you guys, Wendy always said that the attorneys have told her, don't watch, listen, or any of those things to social media or the news or anything. I don't believe that for 1 second. In fact, I know firsthand that she does. I can't tell you how I know that, but I know firsthand she's watching everything. She preys on people's goodness and desire to fight against injustice. Banks sympathy, first by appearing to be an altruistic person herself, attracting bleeding heart types. Yeah, I think that there are women out there that carefully choose their partners. They choose them, no offense, but they choose them sometimes just, a level or two down from them so that they can maintain control over that person. You're not going to pick somebody who is a player or has a zillion girls all the time after him. You know what I mean? I've noticed that she doesn't pick people like that. She just doesn't. Hey, Jab, how are you? Oh, you live in Key West? Oh, you lucky duck. I want to go there. I've never been to Key West. I do want to visit there. By the way, I highly recommend on, is it HBO? Yeah, the show Bloodline. It was filmed out of Key West. And I love the show Bloodline. Go watch it. I'm promoting that show right now. Why they took it off the air, I have no idea. But it is worth it. I think it's 2 or 3 seasons. She probably bought a phone specifically to watch all these videos, then toss it so she doesn't get caught again. That's a really interesting idea there. I like that. Yeah, sure. I'll look into it. I do have to be careful, though. But I will look into it and see if I can see a marriage certificate or something out there. That's public record. So if I find that, I will let you know. I know I looked 2 months ago and I didn't see anything. Oh, Dan was the best, right? I loved Dan Markel. I don't know him, of course, but all of us have fully invested in watching everything we can about him, hearing all the testimonials about him, all the, okay. I think he was a spitfire. I think that he didn't take no crap. And I think he was so knowledgeable and so intelligent that in conversation, he got caught up in the passion of it all. And there are some people out there that think that's stuck up or arrogant or snotty. I personally love people like that. I'm like, bring it on. You know what I mean? And I also think that he adored Wendy, adored her. How could she completely blew it. And it just sucks he's not here anymore. So nobody's going to tell her she had a roach by her back left door. I must have missed what's the context of that. Yes, those poor grandsons dealing with this and old enough to watch YouTube. Hopefully they believe the truth now. Yeah, my kids are watching YouTube now. They were late. I did not give them stuff until much later. But yeah, they watch YouTube. And nowadays the algorithm, if you type it in once, like if you just type Wendy Adelson in Instagram or Facebook and you look at something regarding her once, your feed is now going to give you like a million Wendy Adelsons. You know what I'm saying? So it only takes one time, these boys to type it in, and then they're constantly going to get info fed to them. Even Dan's last message to Wendy was, let's take a walk and discuss the boys. Yeah, well, and then the swimming thing, right? That was the final straw. I mean, she said to Charlie something along the lines of, he's giving me a hard time still, you know what I mean? About him wanting to keep his kids longer to go swimming. So what? Did you guys see, so Andrea says Dan also had a wonderful family and Wendy hit the jackpot. She really did. And I got to tell you, I love them both, Ruth and Phil. But Phil, when he was talking the other day on the SCS, SCS did an interview with him. What a sweetie, right? Like what a doll, like dream father-in-law. I just wanted to hug him. What are you talking about, dude? I'm going to zap you. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, thank you, Victoria. You're so sweet. I just took that long break, so she's probably on there being like, all right, she's not talking. I don't know, guys. I'm still waiting. I'm not sure what's going to happen here with that. Are you serious? You're saying there's a bug crawling up my, did you guys see a bug crawling up my door or something? Is that why Robert came in court via the judge's door? Yes. So he came in through the back door because they wanted to protect him for 2 reasons. One, I don't think he wanted to run into them anyway. But it is been alleged that they brought him in quietly because he was fearing for his safety. Phil Markel called Donna and Wendy actors in an interview after Donna's conviction. Yeah. Great actors. Well, maybe not so great, because look where Donna is now. You guys are so awesome. So yeah, what do you guys think could have been done differently before I head out? What could have been done differently in Donna's trial? So I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, first of all, she should have testified because even though her testimony would sink her, there was no way she could have ever gotten a not guilty without coming forward and testifying. There was just too much crap on her, right? And then that opening and closing statement from her team also, if that had changed and they were able to explain away some of the things a little better, I mean, they didn't answer to most of what the prosecution was putting out there to everybody. So like, I just keep thinking like if anything could have been done differently. And also pointing out the fact, trying to use, and this is like, me saying, what would I do if I was representing Donna? And I'm not an attorney, but if I was pretending to be an attorney and representing Donna, I would have done everything I could to separate me from the murder by saying maybe Charlie came to me after the fact. My son needed my help, and I did help him and do some things to protect my child and play like the old mother, granny type mother that is like really just trying to protect her children. And I didn't do anything directly to hurt Dan Markel, but you're right. I aided him on a few things, and I don't think her situation would have been this bad if she had done that. I think she should have at least come forward and said something along the lines of, Your Honor, I'm guilty of, helping my son who was in trouble and was scared and he thought he was being extorted or whatever, and came to me and asked for my help. And I was scared. I was scared. I didn't want to, get into any trouble, of course, but at the same time, when your son is begging for your help, I think she would have been better off with that than, not answering to what the prosecution had laid out for everybody, right? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And just playing the mother, because we as mothers would do anything for our kids, and that's like human nature in itself, that we would do anything for our children. And I think that is an actual explanation that maybe it would get her nowhere, and maybe she would still end up where she is today, but at least a judge or jury could relate to that and be like, okay, I get that. Charlie is a murderer and went and, did this, and it's all horrible and everything. And he came to her afterwards and decided to, beg his mother for help. And then the mother felt she had to help him because it's her son. I just think it would have been way, way better of a defense. Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing I have this theory about Charlie, and I'm like I told you, I promised you guys I'm going to be doing this big video on Charlie and his women. Okay, all of them. Okay, all of them, and that's going to be coming out soon. I will have the part 1 of the official video of Denise Williams and Wendy Adelson, my comparison of them both, and I have a couple other good stuff coming your way too. But yeah, watch for the Charlie video I'm going to be doing on him and his girlfriends. I figured out some pretty interesting things about why Bree is the mother of his child and not one of these other women. And the dynamics of the women he chose, and then also how that relates to the lifestyle he was leading, which is very, very dark. Okay. So I'm going to be having that out as soon as I can. I've just been so crazy busy. And like I said, I just came back from visiting my daughter in college. So I was out of the loop. Donna isn't faking in terms of shock, but yeah, she's faking the rest. She was doing just fine sitting there with Drina conning her. I don't think Drina, I don't think Drina is like an angel here, but I think she ended up doing the right thing, and I thought she was a credible witness. Hi, Tina from Sweden. How are you? This TV is about 5. Well, I can't explain that. I mean, that is really damning. We all know that. But it can be explained away if not explained away, but if if her son comes to her and says, I did this terrible thing and now I need help, and then she jumps on board at that point, then she would know the whole story and would know about the TV and all that, and then would be trying to help him out when Sam had approached her on the street. And yeah, I mean, did that make sense? I hope that made sense. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Are you guys liking, subscribing, and sharing the page? I'm trying to get Moms for Justice more known and out there. If you guys could share it with your friends, I would so appreciate it. No, I could take questions on a live. You just put a big Q or 3 Qs in front of it and I'll answer you, but I do have to wrap it up in a few minutes. I got about 5-10 more minutes here. Would you be faking it if you were going to prison for life? Ask yourself. Oh, about the video. Let's watch the end of the video, guys, and then yeah. Hold on a second. Let's finish it. I got carried away talking about Wendy, girl.
To get a guilty verdict. No, should I have testified? Should I hire these attorneys? That's what I'm thinking.
She's all of this second guessing. Right. What if I testified? I told them I should have testified. This would be different. I told them, frustration over how her case played out. And I think it's just harsh reality. I don't think, especially if you see and remember yesterday, she thought she was going to get away with it. I really think
was happy.
So. She was like, this is
Disney World.
Yeah, we're getting to the Donna Adelson, you've just been convicted. Now what? I'm going to Disney World. It was that mindset that this is almost done, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Do you think it's too soon for Harvey to start dating again? Heck no, I think he is. I think he's got money, and I think he's paying for women. That's, again, a speculation.
You want to try to walk in?
What's going on with the chat, guys?
That's where they've given up on the wheelchair, and yet here it comes.
Right.
One more moment of resignation here. Watch.
I just can't take you in there without any handcuffs on this their policy, okay?
I can't take you in there without handcuffs, without any handcuffs. And she was pulling at her sweater like, I'm overheating in this cardigan sweater that they told me would help. I don't think it helped.
Yeah, step right there, I got you. That's I had to borrow those this morning. They're blue.
Oh, okay.
Miss Adelson, lift your legs up.
Yeah, that's my Achilles heel. I do. I think like an innocent person. I have a lot of empathy for people. Yeah. I see her and I think, what if that was my mother? And if I was Wendy, I would still love my mother no matter what.
No, I like this part. Nice and easy up the ramp.
I'd be upset. I'd be devastated and scarred for life, but that's my mother, right? And I'd go visit her. I would.
Now, these are the doors we heard just opening and closing, but no video. And watch, they don't open the interior door until the exterior door is closed, and then one of the officers. Watch.
Oh, Donna.
117 is in control.
The pain of knowing you will never sit beachside under a palm tree again. No more Botox and fillers. No more massages. No more facials, Donna. No more like every 6-month teeth cleaning. No more vacations. You'll never see your grandchildren again. How about that one? Because I do think she genuinely loved her grandchildren, everybody. She will never, ever see them again. Ever. Think about that.
Save that lunch. And finally, she can get that damn
Yeah.
sweater
So
off.
with that
Oh,
said,
she probably is. I believe she
Donna?
probably was overheating because she's upset.
I'm sure.
Donna is, and when she gets moved, I'm going to look into the prison that she's moved to, and we'll take a look at what that prison is like and what the everyday life is going to be for her there. But yeah. So I am going to have those videos out for you guys really soon. Did you guys have fun today? Did you guys like the video? Did you guys share the page? We are almost at 15,000 subs. I'm so excited. And this is all in a year's time. I was not expecting that, everybody. So thank you. Also, you can email me at momsforjusticenow@gmail.com if you want to be a moderator, and I could put you in a group, and then I can like send out an email. Hey, I'm doing a live. Sometimes it'll be last minute. And then you can respond back to me if you're interested in doing a moderator. I'd prefer people that have been on I'll recognize your name, that you're somebody that frequently goes on. So yeah, just don't email me until I've gotten familiar, because I don't want to just let anybody on, because what if I have a troll on here that just messes me up or something? I don't want to do that. But yeah. So I'll have those videos out for you. And don't worry, Jocelyn didn't go anywhere. My co-host Jocelyn and I will be on this week on Friday night. I don't know if we'll be doing anything on Adelson and Markel, but we will be on Friday night. And I just so appreciate you guys and spending your afternoon with me. Yes? Yeah? You guys are awesome. All right. So I will see you very, very soon. I'll talk to you guys later. And don't forget. All right. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.